Do you lie awake at night sure that you did this? That if you'd been a better mother, calmer, more present, less of one thing and more of another, your son wouldn't have gone quiet and shut the door on you the way he has? That guilt feels like the truth. It can feel like the one true thing in all the confusion, right? But it might be lying to you, and believing it is making things harder for both of you. You're not a bad mom for this. The fact that you're even asking the question is a sign of the opposite. So in this video, I'll talk about two things. First, why that guilt feels so certain even when it isn't true. And then what's behind his withdrawal, which has far less to do with you than the guilt keeps telling you. I'm Max. I'm not a therapist. I was the boy you're worried about, the one who spent a whole year holed up in his room, too far inside his own head to come out. I work with mothers of teenage sons now, and that's exactly why I can see what's going on with yours. Let me start with why the guilt feels so true. When something is wrong with her child, a mother's mind goes back over everything, looking for the moment she broke him. And that searching feels like insight. It feels like you're finally being honest with yourself, finally seeing the thing you did. But it isn't insight. It's just what a frightened mind does. It goes back through everything, looking for the thing you did wrong. And because no mother has ever done this perfectly, it always finds one. A time you lost your temper, or a year you were barely keeping your own head above water. It lands on that and says, there, that's the reason. And it feels true because you really did do that thing. But a real memory is not the same as the cause. I asked some mothers in my community this recently, and more than one told me that they had caused it. Here's why the guilt is so hard to put down. It feels better than the alternative. If you cause it, then you can fix it. The real fear underneath, that you're watching something happen to your son and you can't reach him, is unbearable. So the mind reaches past that fear and takes the guilt instead, because at least guilt gives you something to do. Guilt feels better than helplessness because it feels like you're still in charge. So is it protecting you? In a way, yes. But it comes at a cost, right? It keeps you stuck in the past going over what you got wrong, while the son right in front of you needs something totally different. So let me tell you what's happening with him. Somewhere around 13, 14, 15, a boy's self-consciousness climbs steeply. He becomes aware of himself as a thing other people look at and judge, and it's overwhelming. So he starts hiding, not from you specifically, just from being seen overall. A developmental psychologist named David Elkind, who trained under Jean Piaget, gave this a name back in the 60s. He called it the imaginary audience. His point was that a teenager starts to feel like he's standing on a lit stage at all times. Like everyone is watching and rating his face, his voice, the way he walks across a room. It isn't real. Nobody's watching him that closely. But to him, it feels completely real. And self-consciousness peaks right around age 15, which is exactly when so many of these boys go quiet and shut themselves in their rooms. That retreat you're watching is often just him trying to get off the stage. This is not a flaw in him, and it's not something you did. There's a part of the brain that handles imagining what other people think of you. In the teenage years, it becomes far more active, and brain scans show it. Even just believing you're being watched sets off more of a reaction in a teenager than in a child or an adult. That reaction is at its highest right around the age your son is now. And it exists for a reason. Humans survived by staying inside the group. So we all carry a sense of whether we're accepted. And it's strongest in the teenage years, because that is exactly when a boy stops leaning on his parents and starts working out where he fits among everyone else. What you're seeing is that working at full strength. It's development doing what it's supposed to do. None of this means you don't matter. It means his going quiet is mostly not your doing, even though it lands squarely on you. So if the guilt isn't the truth, what do you do with it? The thought will come back. I did this. When it does, notice it and call it what it is. It's your mind reaching for control it doesn't have. You don't have to argue with it. You don't have to believe it. Then take the energy you've been spending on the past and put it into being steady now. The boy on that imaginary stage doesn't need a mother going over everything she got wrong. He needs one person who stays calm, who isn't watching him too closely, who makes the room feel safe to be in. That can be as small as sitting in the same room without turning to check on him every time he shifts, not firing off 10 questions the second he comes out, letting a quiet moment sit there without rushing to fill it. There's a free challenge in my school community on exactly this, because it's one of the most common things mothers come in with. Links in the description. So the guilt might be lying to you. A mother who lies awake worried she caused her son's pain is not the mother who caused it. If you'd really failed him, you wouldn't be up at night asking, right? Sit in the same room. Stay calm. Let him come out when he's ready. What he's going through does ease with time. And I really think it's worth understanding and wrapping your head around the fact that you don't have to carry the blame while it does.